us back on the Bossman show with UMass Minutemen head coach McCall, a good buddy of mine. Coach McCall, man, good to talk to you again. Good to see you as well, brother. How things up there in Amherst for you, my man?
Man, things are going great. It's great to see you too, boss man, and brings up a lot of memories, good memories we had down there in Chattanooga. I'll never forget we're getting ready to play a game at Lipscomb. You were out there rebounding for our guys, trying to get our guys warmed up, man. So always appreciate the time we can spend together, and things are going well.
Yes, indeed. Well, actually, how's your wife and your kids doing up there through all this COVID stuff, man? So how's that been for you guys?
You know, obviously, my wife's lots on her plate. My oldest is a first grader, and she's having to do all her education remotely because of where we live. So that's been a lot on my wife, but the kids are doing good. They're resilient, man. So everybody's healthy, which is the most important thing.
Let's go back to March. It was my birthday, March 11th, when everything kind of went crazy with the universe here. So where was your team at? How did you kind of approach it with your guys as, you know, things kind of was going crazy, all the unknown factors going from being on campus to being virtual and academically? How was it for you and your staff, coach, and your players?
Yeah, boss man. I mean, it was a crazy, crazy time. We were when everything started to escalate, we were on our way to Brooklyn to play in the Barclays Center in the A-10 tournament. It's the first time in 5 years that UMass had a bye in the tournament, so we weren't playing on the first day of the tournament, but we did go by the Barclays Center because we were the first game in the next round on the next day. We were playing at noon. So we went by the Barclays Center and showed our guys the arena. I think Fordham was playing GW. We watched a little bit of that game just so those guys could get a feel. And then we went to the hotel and I had a meal, and that was the same night that the Thunder were playing when they got taken off the floor for COVID. And obviously my relationship with Coach Donovan was pretty dialed into that. And as the night kind of went on, it just started to think, man, are we even going to play this game? Mm-hmm. And, you know, normally the night before the game, you're, you know, filling out your play card and you're not sleeping because your anxiety is about the game. And this was like you kept checking your phone every 2 seconds on Twitter. Is everything going to get canceled? And woke up the next day, had our walkthrough, went to the Barclays, and was walking out onto the floor with about 3 minutes to go before the tip was supposed to happen. And our ops guy, Brian Grossman, said to me, you know, they just canceled the SEC and the Big 12. And I'm walking out of the tunnel onto the floor in the Barclays. I'm like, are we playing? And then right then and there, as soon as I hit the floor, everything got canceled. So then, boss man, you're shifting to, all right, what are we going to tell our team? We had one senior, you know, but I think in that moment, I don't think, you know, we had a couple guys transfer from our program. You don't think, hey, man, this is the last time I'm going to see this group all together. And it was. And then, you know, they asked me to do media. I sent the bus back to the hotel, and, you know, we were in Brooklyn, so there's hundreds of media in there, and media is over with. And I'm like, man, is it even safe to get in a cab or an Uber? Right. And ended up walking 2 miles back to our hotel. But it was just pretty surreal. I think our players did a terrific job in the spring of staying on top of their academics, even though everything was remote. The biggest challenge was then, as we put together the roster that we have now, starting our team meetings, doing everything Zoom, that kind of got like, all right, like when are we coming back to campus, getting back to work? Like, we're tired of talking through this computer, coach. Like, when can we get in the gym? You know? And we've been back since August 14th, boss man, and we've been tested, I think 25 times, every individual in our program. We've had 0 positives. So our guys are handling things the right way.
Now, how was it, coach, trying to keep them engaged via Zoom? You know, for me, I see everybody personally. I hate to be on the computer seeing you, but I always like to see you personally. But so how was trying to keep guys engaged via the Zoom platform, trying to keep everybody from losing their sanity? Because I know for me, being caged up here at the house is not fun for me. I want to be out there with you guys. So how was that for you and your staff and your players?
It was a challenge. There's no question about it. You try to be creative. You try to do different things. The different coach talking every time, not just me. Hammering them with a message, allow the assistant coaches to speak, allow the players to even speak at times. You know, there was no question. It was a challenge. And it kind of got to the point where, you know, you didn't want to do it 2-3 times a week because how much are we really getting out of this? And it just kind of like, all right, now, we got to August, and it's like, all right, it's time to get back to campus and get to work.
Now, if we get about the August, coach, how did you kind of ramp your guys up? You don't give them nagging injuries starting August. So how did you kind of ramp them up from some being inactive from March to August? How was that process for you and your staff there?
Well, we started one coach, one ball, one basket. We did that probably for 6 or 7 workouts. And then we transitioned that into groups, did that for 6 or 7 workouts. Then we went team, no contact, did that for 6 or 7 workouts, and then an actual full practice. Knock on wood, we've been pretty healthy up to this point in time. But, it has, one guy gets a little dinged up here, he's out of practice, but everybody's dealing with the same thing. Luckily for us, we haven't had to deal with the COVID piece of it yet, getting shut down for 2 weeks because of contact tracing. I think that is a huge hurdle for coaches to overcome in terms of, you build all this up. We got strength, we've got conditioning, we got all this stuff. And then, if you get shut down for 2 weeks, how does that affect what you're doing in practice when you come back?
Right.
And we haven't had to deal with that yet, but that's got to, no question, be a big, big challenge.
And you have a new roster, a lot of newcomers on your roster and returns as well. Talk to us about your returns on your roster and the new guys as well. We got to look out for what you're taking. I want my listeners here to keep checking out the Minutemen up there. I know you have a team, coach. But what I see on paper, you got a team up there, man.
Yeah, Bossman, it's been when I took the job here, obviously leaving a special place like Chattanooga, I don't think I really knew exactly what I was walking into in terms of just where we were at this point in time, having to go through some very challenging, difficult years in order to get our culture right, for one, and in order to get the right guys in here. We now on our roster, we have, I think, 10 out of the 11 guys that are on scholarship currently right now are either from New England or went to prep school in New England. We're in Western Massachusetts. So that piece of it was big, wanting guys here that really, really wanted to be here. And we have that. When you talk about 10 out of your 11 that went to prep school up here, they've already been in the area, they've immersed. So we're excited about our team. We showed tremendous progress last year to be able to get a bye in the A-10 tournament, most A-10 wins in the last 5 years. I think it was the first time in a number of years that we started the season off 5-0. And we've got a really, really good core of those guys back, led by Trey Mitchell, who was A-10 Rookie of the Year. The numbers that he put up in the conference play last year were really second to none. I think there was one guy that was past him in scoring, and that just happened to be Obi Topping, a top 5 pick this year in this year's draft. So, led by him, Carl Pierre is a guy that's been with me since day one here. Carl has been all about the program, all about the culture. Excited to have him back. TJ Weeks was actually leading us in scoring through 10 games last year. He then had an injury that took him out for the remainder of the season, but he's back. So those are really the core guys that you're bringing back to your team. And Dabaji Walker was another guy that was a surprise that we got late. We got him eligible late that ended up having some big games, 20-plus points at certain points throughout the year. So we've got a good core back. And then just some of the new guys, Bossman, Noah Fernandez, in-state kid. He's eligible right away, went to Wichita State to start his career, came back to Massachusetts. Javon Garcia went to Brewster Academy from the state of Ohio, just an electric guard. Got to be one of the better guards in our league for freshmen, no question about it. Cairo McCory, Ronnie DeGray, both Woodstock Academy prospects, played at a terrific prep school down there. Both are going to add a tremendous amount, as well as DeAndre Dominguez. I mean, we've got a really, really good group. Colton Mitchell's a guy that started, I want to say, 10 games for us last year, and really where we started to turn the corner and really win games at the end of last year. A lot of it had to do because Colton was in there with his energy, with his effort. And then the last guy, Bossman, is a guy named Mark Gasparini, a transfer from American that really can play will play the center spot for us. You'll see us play him and Mitchell together some because of both of their skill sets. So we've got a really good team, excited about this group. But the biggest piece for me with these guys is they're all really, really high character guys, which is exactly what you want, and that's how you win.
Most definitely. And Coach, looking at you guys having to start back here November 25th, how did that affect your non-conference scheduling? Because I know you probably had the MCEs on play, trying to get guys up there. And also now you have to worry about COVID restrictions with different states. So how has that been scheduling these games for the 25th here, coming up here fast and furious?
Boss, man, it's been a mess. It's been a mess. It's been a challenge. You go into the year. We were going into the year. We were playing an MTE in Jamaica. Okay, so obviously that got canceled, and that was moving to Florida. Okay, that made my mom really happy because we were going to play a game close to my hometown. Right now that got canceled, and it's been a challenge. I think that because of all the restrictions and everything, we've really tried to put a schedule together for us to stay as regional as possible. Right, go down to the Mohegan Sun, which is right down the road for us. Play some really quality opponents there, then put together some home games with local opponents. The A10 we're most likely play maybe one game in December, so to free up some time later on in the year has been in the talk. But it's been a moving target. We feel like we've got a competitive schedule, but again, you don't know what's going to happen. You're lined up to play, somebody and someone on their team tests positive, that game may get canceled. But so the biggest thing is just staying in the moment. What are we doing today? How can we get better today? That's the biggest thing. And the teams that can do that the best are the teams that are going to have the most success.
And Coach, your conference A10, man, is tough, man. The competition every night in that conference, man, I watch the games on NBC Sports Network. I keep an eye on it. Man, bro, home or away, 1 through 14, man, it's tough, man.
You know what, Bossman? My first year here, everyone talked about how down the A10 was. And at that point in time, you had Rhode Island with Coach Hurley, and you had those guys, and they were like the cream of the crop with St. Bonaventure and the two terrific guards that they had. That was really my first year. Dayton was going through a transition. VCU was going through a transition. Obviously, Davidson's always going to be very, very good with the job that Coach McKillop does. But everyone talked about how the league was so down. Well, the league is back, and from the top to the bottom, okay? And I don't know that you can necessarily – this team is at – every night is a battle. And you're in close games really every single night. And it's been that way since I've been here. But this year, I would say this is the best the league has been. Take nothing away from what Dayton did last year. That was remarkable. Anytime you can go undefeated in conference play in a league as competitive as our league is phenomenal. But this is the best it's ever been. I don't think there is a huge gap between the best team to the middle team. It's really a toss-up. I think Richmond, with what they have coming back, essentially their whole team, the year that they had last year, being an NCAA tournament team, Davidson, St. Louis. I mean, everyone's talking about those three teams are up there at the top. Dayton's got a lot of guys back. VCU, Rhode Island's got one of the best guards in the league coming back. I mean, there ain't no off nights, but really,
yeah, right.
Who handles all this stuff the best? I think teams are really going to have to try and grow through their non-conference. It's different too, Bossman, because normally we get to play a scrimmage, we get an exhibition. We don't get that, right? So the ball's going to get thrown up for us on November 26th, and it's really – you're going to go through some stuff. You got to mature as a team through some of these non-league games. And then once, the end of December hits and your first league game comes around, that hopefully your team is grown by that point, and then the team that plays the best is going to win the league.
That's what I got for you, Coach. Can't you believe it's been 4 years at UMass already, man? I can't believe it's been 4 years.
Yeah, I've aged, boss man. I've aged, but I always appreciate you, man. And the time we had down there, I used to love you coming down to games in McKenzie Arena at Chattanooga. And you're a good friend, and appreciate everything you've done for me.
Anytime, Coach McCall, don't be cheering for you, buddy. I got some respect for my heart for you, man. So I'll be cheering for you in the Minutemen for sure.
My man, I appreciate you, boss man. Stay safe down there.
You too, brothers. Talk to you real soon, man.
You got it, brother.
All right.